Antarctica, Sociocentrism and Egocentrism in Understanding the Self. Hello everyone, we are Inside Out Group and today we will be tackle the Sociocentrism and Egocentrism and continent of Antarctica. First, let's start off the history of Antarctica.
History of Antarctica. Where does Antarctica located? Antarctica is the Earth's southernmost continent situated almost entirely south of the Antarctic Circle and surrounded by Southern Ocean. It contains the geographic South Pole and is the fifth largest continent covering about 14 million square kilometers or 5.4 million square miles, making it larger than Europe or Australia. Moreover, its size changes depending on the season. In winter, when ice builds up, it becomes bigger than Russia, and during summer, it shrinks again. Now, let's move on in discussing who discovered Antarctica. Antarctica was first sighted in 1820 during expedition by explorers from different nations, including Russian expedition, British expedition, and American sealer Nathaniel Palmer. However, the first confirmed landing on the continent occurred much later, in 1895, by a Norwegian team led by Henrik Bull. Furthermore, France, Norway, and the UK were the first countries to claim it. But the real question is, why does no one owns Antarctica? During the height of the Cold War in 1959, to avoid risk of nuclear testing in this territory, countries signed the Antarctic Treaty, which paused all the territorial claims and made Antarctica a neutral zone. And this treaty was then entered into force in 1961.
And now, let's define Sociocentrism and Egocentrism.
The word sociocentrism is a combination of social, which means relating to society, and centric, which means being at the center. This part convey the idea of prioritizing the interests, value, and needs of particular social group, often placing it above individual concern or those of other group. This concept reflects a mindset where the collective well-being and cohesion of group are considered paramount, often accompanied by belief that one's own group holds a superior position in comparison to others.
Egocentrism is the quality of being overly interested in oneself at the expense of other people, meaning you are being too focused on yourself and your own feelings without considering other people's thoughts or emotion. Psychologists described it as a state of being unable to see things from anyone's perspective except your own. As the word itself, ego, you believe you are superior to others, which is why you can only see things from your own point of view.
The whole Antarctic continent doesn't have any countries under it, but rather has the whole land shared among each of the countries under the Antarctica Treaty. The Antarctica Treaty is a signed contract where the whole land of Antarctica becomes a zone free of nuclear tests and disposal area for radioactive waste of each of the countries under the treaty. Signed in Washington on December 1, 1959 by the scientists around the Antarctica during the International Geophysical Year of 1957 to 1958. There are currently 57 countries under the treaty, but the original 12 countries that are signed the treaty are Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Chile, France, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa, the United Kingdom, United States, and USSR. While the three provisions of the treaty are as follows. The Arc 1, Antarctica shall be used for peaceful purposes only. Arc 2, freedom of scientific investigation in Antarctica and cooperation toward the end shall continue. And Arc 3, scientific observations and results from Antarctica shall be exchanged and made freely available.
Here are the 7 examples of countries in Antarctica. Let's explain why this is sociocentrism or egocentrism. New Zealand. Sociocentrism. Why? New Zealand value community and collective well-being. The Maori concept of one now, extended family, emphasize the importance of family, ties, community, mutual support. The cultural practice of Manay Katanga, hospitality and kindness reflect a strong sociocentric orientation where looking after others is a core value. Next, Australia. Egocentrism. Why? Australian culture emphasizes individual achievement and personal freedom. While there's a strong sense of community, particularly in rural areas, the predominant culture narrative support individualism and self-resilience. The Aussie Butler archetypes celebrate overcoming adversity through personal grit and determination. Next, France. Egocentrism. Why? France places high value on individual expression and personal autonomy. The French are known for their emphasis on personal right, creativity, and intellectual discourse. This is evident in their appreciation of individual artistic and literary endeavors, as well as the strong emphasis on personal freedom in their political culture. Next, Norway. Sociocentrism. Why? Norwegian culture value equality, social welfare, and community well-being. Voluntary communal work is deeply ingrained in the culture, reflecting a collective approach to solving community problems. Norway's extensive social welfare system also underscore a social-centric orientation. Next, United Kingdom. Egocentrism. Why? The UK values individualism and personal achievement. British culture celebrates individual accomplishment in various fields such as literature, science, and sport. While there is a sense of community, the culture emphasizes on personal freedom and individual rights. This highlights an egocentric orientation. Next, Chile. Sociocentrism. Why? Chilean culture emphasizes family and community relationship. Social gathering and family ties play a crucial role in daily life. The importance of extended family and communal support system reflect a sociocentric orientation where collective well-being is prioritized. And lastly, Argentina. Sociocentrism. Why? Argentina values close family and community connection. Social interaction and strong familial bonds are central to Argentine life. The cultural practice of asados or social barbecues emphasize community and togetherness, highlighting a sociocentric approach to social relationship.
Now, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of sociocentrism and egocentrism in Antarctica. One of the advantages of sociocentrism in Antarctica is that sociocentrism fosters collaboration between different countries, scientists, and research teams in Antarctica, where resources and facilities are limited. This cooperation helps in conducting large-scale research projects and sharing valuable scientific data on climate change, wildlife, and geology. The disadvantage is that different countries may have competing political or economic interests, leading to tensions in resource sharing or territorial disputes. Even under international governance structures, sociocentrism may not always align with national priorities. Next is the advantage of egocentrism in Antarctica. An egocentric approach allows a country to prioritize its own research needs and objectives in Antarctica, which can lead to a faster decision-making and tailored scientific investigations without needing to compromise with other nations. Its disadvantage is that an egocentric approach may prioritize short-term national gains over environmental protection, leading to unsustainable practices or overexploitation of Antarctica's fragile ecosystem, as countries may disregard international conservation agreements. Now, to be specific, we'll give an example of a specific country in Antarctica, just like New Zealand. The advantage of sociocentrism is that in New Zealand, particularly Pacific Island communities, sociocentrism fosters strong family and community ties. It encourages support networks, cooperation, and shared responsibility. The disadvantage, on the other hand, is that a strong group-focused culture might lead to pressure to conform, where individuals who have differing views or values feel marginalized, reducing diversity of thought. Now, the egocentrism in New Zealand. The advantage of it is that New Zealand's more individualistic sectors like entrepreneurship benefit from egocentrism. People are encouraged to pursue their personal goals, fostering creativity, personal achievement, and innovation. Its disadvantage is that a focus on personal success can sometimes lead to neglecting broader societal issues like inequality, environmental sustainability, and indigenous rights. In a multicultural society like New Zealand, prioritizing individual desires over collective welfare can hinder progress on these important topics. Now, to summarize, while sociocentrism helps New Zealand maintain strong cultural ties and social support, egocentrism fosters individual achievement and innovation. But it can also lead to social fragmentation and neglect of collective issues. Balancing both perspectives can help mitigate these drawbacks.
That's all, everyone. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. Once again, we are Inside Out Group.